Hi and welcome to this video on Destiny 2. I'm going to be using Destiny 2 as a painting to point to give examples from my painting, so to speak. It is going to be the gameplay, or the guns specifically. I'm going to be talking about the weapon equip system, the general movement inputs, and dabbling into what the build crafting is slightly. But like with every good FPS game, it relies around the guns. If the guns aren't good, the game's not good. Simple as that. A In my game, every type of weapon, every rarity, and I am going to have rarities for specific reasons I'm going to get into later, but the rarity system is going to be completely different because the rarity does not mean it's worse in my game. Far from it. The grays are the most customizable. In my game, the difference between mine and theirs, and I'm going to be saying that a lot because the difference between mine and theirs is actually a pretty cool one, or yeah, pretty cool saying I thought of. The difference between mine and theirs is mine. The grays all have mods. Weapons have mods. Not a good example. Just this works. Weapons are going to have mod slots. Think this type of screen, but not at all. Best way to put it. And I do want to make this fully understood. This is an example. This is the best way I can give visual aid to what I'm doing or what I'm going to do because I have not been able to make my game yet. I am still lacking a good enough PC to run Unreal Engine 5. And once I can do that, I am going to be spending all of my time making this game. Uh, but I do hope you stick around to hear the gameplay because the gameplay I know will make this game sell like hotcakes. But this game is going to have the opposite of what you saw basically, where purples are going to have more mods versus grays. But in my game, the difference between mine and theirs, the grays are going to have the most customization, the most versatility with their mods. Like gray mods, like one of them could be slower fire rate, longer range, something like that you can put on just about any gray. So you could make a slug shotgun, so to speak, if there ever is going to be that in my game. A gray slug shotgun have sniper type range if you just spam those on it. Less fire rate, more range. You only need one shot every like couple seconds, don't you? But that one shot at any range might be a pop, and they're dead. So pros and cons. How do you want to build it? That is going to be the power of grays. Purples, and I do know I'm going to want the typical gray, purple, gold, but I do not know if I want like greens or blues. That's still up for debate. But the purples are going to have specific mods. There's going to be tiers of mods that you have to go find, have to go look for, have to go earn. There's going to be also different ways to get these. Even some grays are going to be quests, some grays aren't. Random world drops, different things like that. Sorry, I had to cough. I'm doing pretty good for being, or at least feeling sick. Don't know if I am. Um, the the legendaries are going to have legendary specific mods. I don't know what they're going to be because they can't be broken because only legendaries can have these mods. Grays can't, but anything above gray can. I do think that's how I'm going to do it. That might be how I do it. That specific system of how mods are aligned, how what mods you can put in where, is up for debate still. Because I don't know specifics, because like I said, I haven't gotten into making the game yet. Once I can actually play with it, I can mold it and shape it how I want to and what will be best for balance. So, sorry. um, Purples are going to have specific mods. Each one is going to be purple specific. Same with gold. But the beauty about the gold specific mods is I I do know that it's going to be very similar to the catalysts in this game. Each catalyst does something different. Each one of these is an exotic that has a earnable catalyst that makes the gun do something different. It might be a big bump in stats, might be a new perk, might be anything. I heard my family talking. I hope you didn't hear them because you shouldn't hear what random people in the background is doing. Um, as I was saying, the exotic weapons. Holy shit! I got back on track. I'm not gonna jinx that. Um, the exotic weapons are going to be uh the exotic mods are going to be like catalysts, but each mod, I don't know how I'm going to specify what goes where, but the mods are going to be exotic specific or specific, almost specific, but not. Like, it has to be like a wind something to be put on this. It does more wind or something like that. I'm wanting those to be like catalysts. Just if it drops, you're gonna be happy. It's holy shit. Like, for example, this is completely hypothetical. I haven't even thought about this, but for example, for the SMG catalyst, so to speak, a mod that you put on, instead of it launching you, it launches them, or you can run up and just have a like a wind geyser to launch people away, which might be useful. I don't know. Which is why that's completely hypothetical. That was literally just off the top of my mind. But things like that is what the mod's going to do. It's going to be more impactful than these because these just get a mod or better stats, a better version of the mod that they have, something like that. Where my exotics are going to, or I keep saying my exotics. I do prefer the difference between mine versus theirs, but my exotics feel better, but it doesn't, or feels better in language. But, you know, don't take anything I say as bad. It's just me trying to have the best example I can. Sorry about that. The each weapon, I just talked about the weapon tiers, how the mods work. Uh, the weapon ammo economy is going to be very different than Destiny. In Destiny, primaries have infinite ammo. Special weapons, you have to find ammo, and depending on the weapon, exactly depending on the shotgun, grenade launcher, fusion, which weapon you have, your ammo will drop different rates. Special ammo is more frequent than heavy ammo, but it is like a tier above in potency and also in, yeah, just in potency overall. Like, special ammo weapons can do things heavy ammo weapons do, but not to the degree heavy weapons do. My game is going to have very similar things to that, but instead of finding the ammo, because it's meant to be a movement shooter, and I'm meant to have to slow yourself down, just worry about timers and different things like that, it is going to have a charge up, a each weapon. I don't know if I'm going to fine tune it per weapon or have like a charge time like this gun does, or something like that. I don't know how I'm going to do it exactly, but I do know that I'm going to want each weapon to have a timer until it gets either a full magazine or ammo in the reserve. I do like the idea of my weapons being so powerful for like special and heavy that they don't need reserve, where one shot is really all you really need. That might sound fun. That does sound fun, but pros and cons, like everything. When it comes to art and game design and just movies, game design, just about any form of media, there's pros and cons to every decision. Um, the the I actually talked about everything that I want to talk about with guns. The special and heavy in my game are not going to be called special and heavy. I think I'm going to call it something magical mystical. I am going to call it something magical and mystical because it's Reaper recruitment program. It has to be magical and mystical. It can't just be special and heavy. That just sounds too militaristic. But the special ammo, uh, the difference between mine and theirs when it comes to the equipped, or where you can equip them. My game is going to have, instead of kinetic slot, energy slot, heavy slot, which has been updated over time, and so is this with what can be put in there. This, instead of just kinetic, has the darkness subclasses, which are this one, which has been added over time, but that's not really necessary. Um, in my game, there's going to be a weapon wheel. You can have each weapon as a button input if you want to. Yeah, you can have each weapon as a button input or like a Fortnite scroll, something like that. I do want a lot of customization in this game that I'm going to make. When you have customization as in tune or more than this, and I do want my game to be more than this. Like, I want the HUD to be customizable. I want the color scheme to be customizable. I want Doom Eternal where even the icons can be changed where the icons are, like RPG type. Uh, uh, I saw my parents play World of Warcraft when I was younger. World of Warcraft, you can have mods and different things. I think it's mods where you can change where your hotbars are and where different status effects pop up and different things like that. I'm going to want to dabble in that for console games. And any game I make, I'm going to try my best to put on console. Everything I make, everything I do is through the eyes of a console player. I am only a console player. I will never play on PC unless I have a controller because I have more fun that way. I understand that PC is just better. It is actually better. Console needs aim assist to compete with PC. PC's precision and accuracy and everything about what PC is as a game platform is precision and accuracy. Every button input, everything is to your specifications, to how you want to do it. And that is beautiful. Just, I hope I can make a game for the PC crowd. I know I can make a game for the console crowd pretty fucking easily. But that I'm going to have struggles with. But as I was saying, I want each input to be customizable like this, because each thing should be customizable. If you can have your own custom button layout, why not? Um, including, or I do want the weapon wheel to have customization. The weapon wheel is going to be the main thing and is going to actually play part in your build crafting. There's going to be different parts of build crafting that are going to rely on left or right for your whip weapon. Or let's go from the top for the weapon wheel. The weapon wheel, when you pull it up, is going to be a weapon wheel like typical, but is going to be split up in technically three sections. There's going to be the two sides, which is your rip weapons. There is going to be the top, which is going to be your grenades, so to speak, your magic items. And your bottom is going to be your weapons. Each weapon slot, and you can have three weapons, those weapons are completely up to your choice. You could have three heavy weapons. Sure, you're not going to be able to shoot ever, just about. You're going to have to run for your life. But imagine a horde shooter where you have three shots. You crowd them all up, get them all ready to go, and you can just dump three shots. Or playing with an ally, playing with a friend in this horde shooter, having a blast running around. You're just the, oh fuck, there's a big bitch. Delete your ass. Switch between each one of your weapons and just bitch smack it into next week. That type of build crafting and design is what I'm wanting to implement. That complete freedom of choice with what do you want to use, how do you want to use it, where do you want to use it. All of that I want to have up to you as the person playing my game. And that amount of freedom is what I'm going to strive for in all of my games, even games that I work with other people. That freedom, even if it is a story driven game where it's mission by mission, I'm going to strive for freedom in a sense where you can like inspect every little thing if you really want to, where you can find little things under the bed if you really look, different things like that. Like I am one of the one type of people that love that not love that will not necessarily will, because saying will means every single one should, or not necessarily everyone, because everyone would be kind of lame and boring. There's going to be ones that don't. But every single waterfall kind of should have a smiley face behind it. Something. Something behind it. To have that, hey, you explored it. Good job. for the gamer, because that is the fun part about games, that going into somebody else's dreamscape and exploring the little nooks and crannies. And that is going to be what I have fun doing. Like, uh, going back to the rope weapons to actually talk about this. The left and right is going to be your rope weapons. Each one is going to be your specific grenade or tactical. Like, think Call of Duty. It's L1, R1. That general thing. The the L1, R1 input is going to rely on which side you have the rip weapon on. Each rip weapon has their own unique ability, unique fighting style, unique gameplay mechanics, unique everything. And they're all called rips because they're Reaper weapons. I forget, I think I have it written down what R.I.P stands for. I think rest in pieces. There we go. They're rest in pieces weapons. Because when a Reaper has to pull them out in story, it is you done fucked up now. But in like the Crucible, like this game has Crucible for its PvP mode. I do like that idea where Vanguard's PvE, that's PvP, VE, that's PvP, that like general naming structure. I do want to do something similar, but in the Crucible, so to speak, for my game, there's going to be little reasons why that happens. But kind of figure that out when I get there. Uh, the Tactikov. The rip weapons, or one rip weapon specifically, because every good Reaper has to have a scythe. The scythe is the spy from Team Fortress 2 weapon. The I'm invisible, you can't see me, but I can see all of you and stab you in your ass, ta-da, motherfucker style. That type of gameplay. But with complete hard counters. Absolute, they can't play hard counters. Because if they don't counter you, you counter them. Anyone they play. The pros and cons of this invisibility, and I'm going to work under the assumption that you have it as your L1. Let's go with L1. You press, or I was actually saying L1 when I was thinking R1. Dyslexia is fun. Or, sticking with L1. 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 You press that. You go invisible if you do not have the rip weapon. If you do not have the rip weapon equipped, you go invisible for X amount of time. Don't know how long that is. Gonna dabble with that, but X amount of time. If you use your shift, or if you use your shift, shoot a gun, anything like that, you will lose the invisibility. You can jump, you can walk, but you cannot do an action outside of those. Anything like that will drop the invisibility. But you are completely invisible. Absolutely, completely. No one can see you, no one can hear you. You are gone. Unless somebody is standing still for X amount of time. That is going to be called calm. Calm is a status effect, so to speak, in the game that all Reapers share. All players in the game share this one status effect. When you are standing still, not shooting, not moving, just standing still for X amount of time, everything goes where everything goes a certain shader, like all white, all gray. Don't know how I'm gonna do it. But when everything goes all white, all gray, everything, the points of interest pop out more. You can hear music coming from some things. Like, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but that is Reaper sense. It is the calm before the storm. The I'm sensing everything, absorbing all that information. I see you, got you type of anime protagonist bullshit. The in calm, if something is invisible, and it works for anything with invisibility in the game, if you are calm, you can see them. Standing still for X amount of time, you will see them, different things will pop out to you better, and different like hidey holes, different points of interest and stuff like that will pop out to you a lot better. Um, that is how you counter the invisibility and how you play as invisibility. The cool thing, though, about the scythe's combat, and I do want to introduce things like this in the gameplay where different whip weapons have their own gameplay loop, own gameplay minigame, so to speak. The scythe, the scythe, when you have it equipped, like I said, you go invisible indefinitely. And while you have it equipped, it is idle with the stabby bit out. When you have it out and you are invisible, weak points start glowing on enemies, including other players. Other players, it's their back. And this is a spoiler, but this is going to be make this game either you love it or you hate it. Because this is going to be so fun. And keep in mind, I'm a chicken. I'm an absolute chicken shit. But the scythe, if you were to hit a weak point, and I do think I'm going to want to fully charge, like there is a skill to it instead of just go invisible, walk up, stab. You have to like charge it, have it aimed, and then go, something like that. But if you get the fully they're dead off, whatever that might be, you will actually stab through them. And keep in mind, your visibility drops, so their allies can see you. Can clear as day without being calm. You're dead, basically. Not dead. You can get away, depending on what you have, what your throw weapon is, build, all these different things. You can get away. But what the enemy saw is, and I do want complete customization in your character. Your character is meant to be a part of you. I want customization very similar to the finals. The finals do it fucking beautifully. And I cannot wait for that game to come back out. Holy shit, that game's fun. If you've never played it, look it up. It's not out right now. It was in beta. I cannot wait for it to come back out because holy shit. Ground Up is beautiful. And I was actually going to make a video on it the day it dropped, the day it went out. But, yeah, the finals is a beautiful game. The character customization is what I'm going to be taking basically with my game. I do think I'm going to want something around the lines of a 3D COD emblem design for your armor. Something around those lines where you can have complete customization with what your Reaper looks like. Because Reapers might be dead, but Reapers might be death touched, but they're not dead. That's a lore piece that it makes more sense if you will play the game or invest in the lore at all at any point. It makes more sense. But the what was I gonna say? And that was an alarm. That's why I just closed that. And that was my phone latching because I have one of those cool wallet phones or wallet phone cases because I just like it. Um, the the invisibility, the person stabbing you, as I'm going by the perspective of you just got stabbed by Invisibitch. Getting stabbed by Invisibitch, and I am doing this, they're saying that call out now, because I'm going to say that call out when I make this game. I am going to be calling people Invisibitches, even though I'm the one that made it, because they're an Invisibitch. I, to specify, everyone uses she's. Everyone is a bitch to some degree when it comes to PvP. You have to use some cheats. You have to do something to compete. So, if your something is being invisible and walking slowly in a movement shooter, rock on. Like, it's not you're an Invisibitch as an insult, it's you're an Invisibitch. What the fuck? Like, good on you, but the fuck? But with that hard counter and general design of that, keep in mind each rip weapon, and there is going to be a lot of them. Each one is going to have its own ability, own design, own gameplay. None of them are going to have the weak points, maybe some of them. I don't know. But that's not going to be designed for everything. All of them. Oh, yeah, I didn't actually say the coolest part. The the person getting stabbed will get a jump scare. It is going to be nothing. Then hear crunch as it goes through your chest. You just see a spike in your screen. And I don't know if I'm going to want it where you see the Reaper's face that stabbed you, like he just picks you up and leans you backwards kind of look, or not. But I do know I want that jump scare. Like you just got impaled by an alien. And at a it will be a jump scare technically, but at a certain point, even when you start the game, if you don't know about it, oh fuck. But when you first start the game, it will only scare you once. just about, and then you can prepare for it. You can know if there's an invisibitch, and I do think I'm gonna want to do something where you can see the rip weapons that people are using on like the touchpad screen or the scoreboard, where you can see like in Overwatch, where you can see what the enemy team's using each hero, where you can see the two rip weapons for each character, each player, because that is kind of determining their build and what they're going to be doing to you. And because there's two rip weapons, I'm going to be talking about another rip weapon that is going to be beautiful for movement. It is going to be my take on a grappling hook, on a hit it, swing around it, keep moving type of mechanic. But it is going to have its own unique fighting style, where even the grapple ability, because it is going. Okay, first, it is going to be a rope dart, kind of. Magic Voodoo Hoodoo, rope dart, kind of. So keep this in mind. I have no descriptor for any of this in this game. I'm going with the best I got. A rope dart, or, you know, I don't have to do that. A rope dart that when you, or a rope dart that has its own unique combat. It is not stab you in the ass, keep going. It is going to be more fluid, more moving, more you are doing a ballet, a dance. I don't know how I'm going to want to make you feel like you are, and I do know I'm going to want like the animations to feel like it. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but my dream is to make it feel like you are doing a ballet, where like you're moving kind of, where it's like a wind up toss. I don't know how I'm going to do it. That I haven't thought about for the game, for this rope dart. But the Reaper ability that you get for the rope dart is going to be a launch the dart out, and anything the dart hits, be it an enemy, be it a wall, be it a random burb in the sky, you hit them, you pull to them, or you string around them. It's up to you. I do want the movement to be very similar to the grapple in Destiny, because if you didn't know, the grapple ability for Strand, the grapple ability for Strand actually your look input and your movement input both impact your grapple. I've dabbled with it and actually made cool discoveries in it. I have actually come up with a term or a technique called the grapple slingshot. I don't know if other people have called something like that, but I have a term or I have a movement tech called the grapple slingshot for grapple. But none of that matters. Just the how it actually functions. The look and movement input being important with this grapple. Unlike Titanfall or other things where it's just your look input, because having both inputs as a necessity for true control of it gives you the ability to, so to speak, I can actually just show you. And I do want to point this out there. I have not touched Grapple in a couple weeks. I've not had anybody to play Destiny with, so I might be falling on my face. This might be like the beginning of Spider-Man, or the Rusty Spider-Man, if there ever is a Rusty Spider-Man. But yeah, I'm gonna try my best. And the big difference between my grapple and their grapple is Destiny's grapple you can hit in the very air. The air itself you can hit, and you'll see. Mine, you have to hit something. You cannot just hit the air. That is the big difference, and there's going to be little differences here and there with how exactly it functions. But this is the best example I have for you.
You signed the waiver. Now explode each other.
Now, first grapple, I am just going to move right. Just moving right. And now, wait for it to recharge. Wrong, but gonna look that way. Fuck. I know look does play a part in it. It's look that way, get that speed boost, flight. There we go. Haha. Okay. The look input is not actually. I keep describing it wrong. Okay. I'm autistic, so trying to describe things, and that was a grapple slingshot. What I just did. Uh, or there is a better version of it that didn't actually give me the distance I'm used to. But the grapple slingshot I have tried to describe to people as using your look input. I never fully studied it until right now. It is look that way, or damn, bounce off the wall. It it is look a direction, get the momentum of going sideways, like that, and then slingshot off. Okay, going back to the example of the difference between my game and this game. I'm sorry, I just discovered how to play that game, how to do that again. the The difference is instead of launch, you can grapple on anything, you have to hit something, be it anything. And it is not going to be movement heavy, where you have to go left or right heavily to impact it. It is going to be a good in between Destiny, where the movement does the most impact, and Apex or Titanfall, where the look input has the most impact. It is going to be a good mixture of both. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it because, like I said previously, I haven't actually dabbled in it. I haven't actually made hard progress in this yet because I don't have a PC. But the I don't want to close the game. Going back to this, or so I don't have the problem getting booted. I'm just going to head to orbit. The Those are the two rip weapons that I have somewhat designed. I have others somewhat designed, some even more than the rope dart, but those are the two I want to talk about. The grenades that I talked about previously, or yeah, previously, are up above on the weapon reel. There's the left and right of the weapon reel. That is your rip weapons. There's the bottom, which is your weapons. The top is your grenades or magic items. Don't know what I'm going to call them, but they're magic items. Each one has their own thing. There is going to be grab it, toss it, does damage, contact grenades, that sort of thing. But the each weapon is going, or each grenade is going to do something different. I do know because my game is going to be heavy on status effects. Because I want to focus on rack 'em up, knock 'em down, line 'em up, knock 'em down type gameplay. The status effects are going to lean into that, but it is not going to be where one status effect rules all, or one status effect is just easier to proc. Like, you have to work for it. You have to go from one target to another, to then proc the status effect that then does something big. That it has to be a knock 'em up or rack 'em up, knock 'em down effect. It is not going to be one target. It is going to be multiple. PvP status effects are going to be as useful. PvE even more so. But the ability, or one of the grenades, is going to be a clear. I know this for a fact because status effects are going to be a problem because I do know I'm going to want a PvE because my personal favorite game mode in this game is Gambit because it is a PvE. It is the only good PvE I have ever played. It has been constantly updated, just about. It has, or not constantly updated. Hasn't had an update in a while, but it hasn't really needed it in a while. The gameplay is amazing. Uh, I don't have enough time to continue or to play a game on that because I'm just wanting to show off best I can my game. The The game is going to be primarily movement. PvE, PvP, PvE, PvP, doesn't matter. And the third one was meant to be both. I just had that weird pause in between. But it I'm gonna have all of these from in this game has. I don't know if we're gonna have raids and dungeons like this game, because in a movement shooter I don't think that's really necessary. It's the movement you're playing, it's not the difficulty. Which I do want a solo campaign where you unlock things from that solo campaign that you can only get from that solo campaign, which tells you the story, different things like that. Which I do want to have an escalating bar for difficulty that I don't know how I'm going to really work. But that is how it's going to function. Something awesome though. The the I was actually going to say something that I haven't really. The maps, I do know I'm going to want them to be massive. Very similar to like Derg maps, if you ever played Deep Rock Galactic. How big the actual missions can get. Not necessarily a max complexity for the maps and max depth and all of that. Like, not max cave, but like half, I want to say. For this is the best description I have for the size of the maps with all sorts of exploration, all sorts of discovery, all sorts of stuff. PvP maps, though, I know are not going to have to, or can't, or actually for a good movement, yeah, that would work. Maybe. I'd have to specially design them for PvP, and I am going to specially design maps for PvP. But yeah. Um, have I talked about everything? I have talked about everything except one specific thing that is the big. This is the thing that I hope you take from this. This the thing that is going to be the game, like the build. This is part of your main build, whatever you're doing. Your shift. And I said shift before in the video. Shift is your sprint, but not. Shift is your shift in stance. Your get ready to move, get ready to go. There's going to be basic shift, which is the sprint, having its own pros and cons. Like I talked about the guns, I want every ability to have its own place in the meta, its own place in what you can do with it. But the basic sprint, don't know what it's going to do. That is going to happen. The other movement, the other shift that's going to happen is skating. Don't know what I'm going to call it, but skating. It's going to look, so you have a good descriptor, it's going to look like you're using your own magic under your feet. Depending on your specific builds, depending on your specific stuff, it will change the look. But it is going to be your mana coming through your feet, giving you the ability to skate across it, which allows you to do uh, skate like move. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it. Don't know wall running. Don't know specific things like that. I do think I'm going to want wall running all the time. Skating might have better wall running. Don't know, but that is going to be for movement and speed and getting up to speed, keeping the speed. Like, for example, with the skating, if you were to use the rope dart, hit a wall, slingshot around the wall, land with your shift active, slide, you can keep that momentum and zoom with it. And just launch yourself incredibly fast, and then build that into momentum, keep doing other things, keep the momentum, and keep going. Which, because of how much movement I'm wanting to do in it, some PvE modes are going to be movement specific. Like, how good are you at this? How good are you at that? Can you time this jump to do this, to do that, to do this? Different things like that. I'm going to have fun with it. The third shift that I know for a fact is going to happen, that is going to be changed most definitely, like skate. There's going to be differences in what I said and different things like that. But it is going to be called canon. Canon, for the third thing, is basically shooting yourself as a bullet. It is going to be press your shift, or it's going to be you press your shift input, and anywhere you are looking, be it up, be it left, be it right, any direction you are looking, you will launch. A specific distance with a specific height, if you look up with a specific thing, is going to be always the same. I don't know if I'm going to have you, I don't know if I'm going to give the ability to dabble into that specific thing, but when you launch, it is going to be able to do damage. For this, not necessarily a one-shot kill, but enough damage where you could have, say, a weapon that shoots through multiple enemies. You shoot through multiple enemies, get them weak enough. You know the exact numbers because you've done this a lot. You've practiced. You line these people up. Be it in PvE, PvP, doesn't matter because technically this system would work either or because it's not a status effect. Status effects are going to be the big PvE thing versus PvP. The You line them up, get them ready, and cannon through five enemies, getting a strike. Just ta-da, and you get that entire team right because you did just enough damage on the entire team before launching through them. That type of mechanics, that type of knock them up, build them, or rack them up, knock them down type mechanics is going to be everywhere. Um, those are the three shifts, and each weapon, each thing, each every little thing in this game is going to be fine-tuned to such a degree when it's actually fully released. I do plan to have like demos, different play tests, different things like that. I'm planning on advertising this game once I actually get to making it a lot more because I want people to enjoy it. I want people to enjoy my games above anything else. I don't know if I've said this yet in the video, but I am going to struggle with monetization because you need money to live. Money is a necessity. It makes things better. If it wasn't money you had to barter with, it would be your goods, it would be your services, it would be something that you don't have necessarily. Money gives you the easy route to paying for the goods by doing something that wasn't necessarily manual labor, which is the beauty about money, which is why I need money. Um, So if I ever do have a free game, 100% free, it will have microtransactions. It will not be to some games, like the degree of some games where it's buy this, you get free whips. Fuck that. Anything that you buy in a free game should be cosmetic only. Should just be cosmetic only. Something, and I don't know how I'm gonna do packs in free game because they're gonna have to be like say cosmetic only, something that really doesn't impact gameplay at all ever. Because if it does, that's pay to win. And for an example of things that you wouldn't expect to be pay to win, in Fortnite, some emotes could actually contort your body into some positions, at least did, don't know if this has been patched yet, that makes it where you can't be seen in some environments and you can play to that strength. You can have pay to win emotes and pay to win skins in Fortnite. And people say you can't. You can. There is stretch. There's ways to do it if you are smart enough. And that's something I don't really want in my game, which is going to be or any one of my games, because that's just not fun. It's meant to be an expression of yourself, not an expression of your ego. The expression of your ego is an expression of yourself, but not the expression we're looking for. um, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I made what I'm going to make crystal clear, or at least as clear as it possibly can. It might be like a murky water, or muddy water, or nasty gook, but I at least try. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.